Hey, what's up guys? Vegas Jay here, and today we're gonna have some fun. We're actually gonna be playing roulette, and I'm gonna be teaching you guys some of the beginner strategies if you've never, played the game. So let me get this straight. So if you've ever wanted to really master roulette, but you're not really sure where to start because there's a bunch of bouncing balls and things like that, missed that bet. Then this is the video for you, right? So this is going to teach you how to play, the different types of bets, whether winning strategies actually work or not. And then of course, I'm going to share some tips, some key tricks to kind of keep your bankroll safe, but at the same time, while you're still having fun, right? So let's start. So as you can see, we've got a spinning wheel here of roulette. It essentially is a white ball that is put inside that ball, that wheel, and it's going to spin. Now, it's going to spin counterclockwise, right? So you're going to have the wheel itself moving in one direction, and then the ball is actually going to be dropped in on the other direction. Now, why does that matter? It doesn't. It's just a game of chance, and the fun thing about it is that it just allows you to have some fun. But the main thing that I wanted to express on that is that, as you can see, so I'm glad this popped up, perfect timing. The wheel is rolling in one direction. Doesn't matter which direction it's going. And then the ball is going in the opposite direction, okay? So that's the essential breakdown of the mechanics of the game itself, right? So what is roulette, right? It's obviously one of the most exciting games in the casino. You essentially are betting on a spinning ball, as I just mentioned, and so we don't get kicked off this table because we are playing live. I'm gonna go ahead and just put a bet in here, right? But it's very simple. You have one goal, right? Predict a color, a range of numbers, or the right number in itself. And I'll explain what that means. So you have the ability to bet anywhere inside, right? These are what's referred to as the individual numbers. Let me pull this up. This makes it a little bit easier to see. So you can bet inside here, any one of these numbers, right? These numbers, and I'm going to go over the breakdown of what each pays out in just a second. So you can bet inside. You can bet the columns. That's what these are referred to. It's a column of up and down. You can bet the dozens. So this gives you a bet of this dozen, or that dozen. And again, I'll break down the odds in just a second. Then, of course, you've got the first through the 18, which is not rocket science, right? It's the first through the 18. And then you've got 19 through 36, which is exactly what it sounds like, the 19 through 36. You can also bet even and odd, or red and black. It's that simple, right? So essentially what you want to do is you want to place your bets before the dealer spins. So let me close this down. Before the dealer spins, because once the dealer spins, you won't be able to put bets in, okay? So there's two types of roulette. There is a European roulette, and there is an American roulette, and then there is a French roulette. You're probably never going to run into the French roulette unless you're in France. I've yet to run into it in any casino anywhere in America or even overseas, oddly enough. I've never really run into that yet. A European roulette wheel is where you want to play. That is what we're playing here. It's a single zero, okay? It's got better odds. There's an American roulette, which actually has two zeros, and in rare occasions, you will run into a table that actually has three zeros. And if you run into that table, don't play it, okay? Get out of there. You don't want to play that. So let's jump into some of the, not the statistics, but let's jump into how you get paid, right? What are these? So the straight up bet, and that's what I was referring to. You can bet any side inside these numbers. Is kind of like called an inside bet on a single number. That single number bet pays 35 to 1. So if you bet $1, you win $36. You win the $35 plus you win your bet back, okay? There's also what's referred to as the split bet, and that's where you're covering two numbers right here, right? The split bet is a 17 to 1 ratio, meaning, just as it sounds, you bet $1, you win 17. There is another bet called the street bet, and the street bet is probably one of the most famous bets in all of roulette. It is very simple. It covers three numbers, and we refer to this as a street, if you will, this street of numbers. That pays 11 to 1. Same example. You bet $1, you win 11. And then there's corner bets. A corner bet covers all four of these numbers, right? 14, 15, 17, and 18. Those pay 8 to 1. And by now you've probably read all of the you've read all of the statistics already, right? So I just want to kind of show you what that looked like so that you know what the payouts are. Now, the other bets that aren't really covered here are these ones on the outside, right? And these are called even money bets, meaning if you bet black or if you bet red, you bet $1, you win $1, right? Same with these, the 1 through the 18 that I brought up a little earlier. If you bet 1 through 18, you win whatever you bet, you win 1 to 1, okay? Columns, back down here, like we were discussing a few moments ago, columns pay 2 to 1. So you bet $1, you win $2, okay? So that is essentially the breakdown of how you get paid and what the odds are for the individual bets that we're going to be doing today. And again, pause it here. You can kind of see this, print screen it if you want. You'll see exactly what these are. The only bet that I didn't go over was the line bet. Now, the line bet is very similar to the street bet. We call it the double street because that's exactly what it covers. 2 streets, right? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and it covers 2 of those streets. That pays 5 to 1, okay? You bet $1, you win $5, okay? All right, so now that, I missed that bet on this live, uh-oh, that's on me. So when you're playing live roulette, like online live roulette, if you don't play, you get kind of kicked out. Not that big a deal. So you kind of know now what some of these statistics are on how to actually bet, right? So let's understand some of those payouts. Inside bets pay more, obviously, because they're more risky, right? Sorry, I'm going to put a bet in here just so we can kind of keep this going. Let's go 1st through 18 even. So you're doing inside bets, meaning you're betting on the inside, right? Those pay more because they don't happen as often, right? So they're not as frequent. The other thing that I like to play is, this is kind of a combination of different plays. So let's talk real quick before we actually jump in and start playing of some of the betting systems that you can do. And there's a ton of betting systems. And the question is can you beat roulette, right? So the martingale system, probably the most popular system of all time. However, it will eat your bankroll up faster than you can say red paint. And here's what I mean by that. It's very simple. Every time you lose a bet, you double it. So for example, if you bet $1 and you lose $1, then you go to $2. If you lose that $2, you go to 4. If you lose 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, etc. You can blast through your bankroll pretty quickly playing that way. But it is a great way to double your, or not double, but it's a great way to double your losses, but it's also a great way to recover losses over a short period of time. The problem is you got to have a really big bankroll, and sometimes you're going to hit a table limit, so which basically stops you from winning forever, right? So even right here, we've got a $5,000 limit on this table. I would never want to be betting $5,000 on the table because that would suck, all right? The second system, probably another really important system, is the I'm going to pronounce this wrong, so please bear with me in the comments. Hold on, let me get this bet going again. The D'Albert system. D'Albert, I don't know why I can't say that. It's a slower, safer betting strategy. So essentially, instead of doubling each time you win, you increase your bets gradually after a loss. So for example, you can do, you win one. Instead of doubling it, you bet $1 more or another $1. Or let's say you lose one, instead of doubling up, you can kind of just do what we refer to as a Fibonacci sequence, right? And that is essentially, you do a 1, 2, 3, 5, etc. Now, I know that part might be a little bit confusing, but essentially all you're really doing is, the easiest way to understand that is that instead of doubling your bets, let's get back on that. Instead of doubling your bets, you're just gradually increasing your bets by 1 unit after a loss. Okay, and then when you win, you just kind of take your profit. But let's be realistic, guys. At the end of the day, roulette is a game of chance. No strategy is going to guarantee wins, but smart betting can allow you to manage risk and kind of keep your stuff together, right? So before we jump into playing live, which I know we've been playing live kind of behind the scenes here, you want to do 3 things that are very, very important, okay? You want to set a budget, and you want to stick to it. Meaning if your budget is $100 or $500 and you lose that, do not continue putting more money in. Walk away, go get a coffee, go get a drink, go do something else, right? The other thing is you want to avoid chasing losses. Now that is a little challenging. And what I mean by that is that if you're playing the doubling up system or any other system, betting strategy for that matter, you have a tendency to want to chase a loss, right? And by chasing a loss, you double up, you maybe make some unnecessary bets that you don't want to because you're trying to chase a loss. And I assure you, from full-on experience, if you do this, you will lose because that's how casinos make money. Remember, Vegas was not built on winners. It was built on losers. This last thing that I really wanted, this is important, is Know when to walk away. Okay, look, a winning streak does not last forever. I assure you. It can roll 27 reds in a row or 27 blacks in a row, but it will not continue that process. And if you keep playing and keep playing and keep playing, I assure you, my friends, unfortunately, you will lose. Okay, so I don't want you to do that. Okay, so let's couple of quick things, and then we'll jump into some live play and kind of put all the stuff we just talked about into action. Right? Be respectful to the dealers. Right? Don't interrupt the flow of game when you're playing live. There's a bunch of moving parts. People are moving all over the place. Just make sure to be respectful. Don't bump into each other. Understanding the table layout. Where are you at, right? And the table layout is what we were breaking down earlier, right? Are you betting on the first or second 12 or the third 12? Are you betting on an even number? The outside, if you will. And it's not rocket science. It's called outside because it's an outside bet, right? The inside bets are exactly as they sound. They're on the inside. The column bets are the columns, right? Just like what we just went over a little bit earlier. And then finally, look, man, enjoy the game. The game is absolutely a blast to play. Super easy. You don't have to think about a lot of stuff, and you essentially just kind of play the game out, right? So that was the recap, or I don't know if recap's the right term. That was the breakdown of how you play roulette. So now let's put all that stuff into action, and let's actually play the game, okay? There's a bunch of different strategies you can use. But what I typically like to play is I will play on the outside quite a bit. Those are 1-to-1 bets, meaning you bet $1, you win $1. And then occasionally, I like playing on the inside. And there's a bunch of different strategies that you can do in that scenario. But what we're going to do today is one of my favorite strategies. And I have a few, but I'm going to teach you the simplest way to play. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Where are we at? 4,435. Okay, so just for dollars, since we're doing education, we're doing double streets. Put here. Okay, so we've got 5 double streets, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You do not want to go over 5 because remember, this pays 5-to-1. Meaning, if you go over 5 double streets, you're not going to make a profit. You're just going to break even, okay? And what we're trying to do when we're playing roulette is we're trying to make some money, right? But this is a fairly safe bet. You have most of the board covered, not everything. And you know what? There is one final crucial thing that I forgot to mention that is super important. What about this little green guy rolling around, right? The 0. That right there is just like an individual number. It pays 35-to-1. But if you're betting anything but the 0 and a 0 comes up, it wipes you out. Any bet that you have on the inside, the outside, the columns, the squares, it doesn't matter. If you hit 0 and you're not betting on it, you will lose your entire bank, okay? Going to happen from time to time. Zeros occur. And that's why I brought this up earlier. You want to make sure that you are playing on a single 0 table. If you see a doubles table, that's the American. So let me back up. European is a single 0. I don't know why. American is a double 0, meaning there's 2 zeros here. And then, which is weird, I have seen, and I know you guys have too, a 000 table. And like I said earlier, if you see a 000 table, walk away. You don't want to play on that table. The odds are not stacked in your favor by any means whatsoever. Okay? So, simplest way to play, double streets. That's what we're doing. Hello, Holly. We're playing, or that's LS, my apologies. We're playing double streets, right? These two. So, as you can see, we're covering a large portion of the table. That is a very safe bet, is a very fun bet, and you are, I hate to use the word protected, but you are covering quite a bit of the table for rolls and things like that. So this, in my opinion, is probably the safest way a beginner can play the game, okay? That's the first betting side. I'm going to teach you guys 3 of them today, so that don't worry. You're going to learn, if you've never played before, or even if you have played before, these 3 strategies will 100% help you understand and make money in the game, okay? Okay, so this is a great example, right? So even though we have a large portion of the table covered, if it hits one of these, we lose, right? So we lost this bet, which is totally fine. That's not a big deal, okay? So that was the first thing I wanted to show you was the double streets. Double streets is just as it sounds. You saw it. We're betting each double, 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 double. And remember, you only want to do 5 of those because of the payout ratio. It pays 5-to-1, so you only want to bet 5 streets at a time. And you can do whatever 5 streets that you want. I just happen to choose the ones in the center because that's just where I like to play. Okay, the second bet, and probably not second bet, the second strategy, and probably the most common strategy of all strategies. In fact, this is probably the oldest strategy in the book that's ever been played. Is you choose a red or a black. Right now, there's a couple of different schools of thought on this. You can go algorithm-wise, right? Red, red, black, black, or black, black, red, red. Honestly, again, this is a game of chance. It really doesn't matter. Pick which one you want. In this particular example, we happened to win on red, so that was awesome. We'll take it, right? Now, some would say also you should look up here and see whatever the last few numbers were and then choose those numbers. Like that. Again, this is a game of chance. Let's just go red one more time just since we're talking. Actually, let's just go black because we want to bet on everything. So the first set, as I mentioned, you want to play the double streets. If you don't want to play that and you play something even more simpler, you're playing a red and black strategy. This plays 1-to-1. So if you bet $5, you win $5. Zero, same scenario. If you hit zero, you lose it all. But red and black is a very simple strategy. You don't have to worry about moving chips anywhere or everywhere. You just pick a red, pick a black. I would recommend, though, there's one piece of caution I'd recommend on this. Don't just stay on one side. Okay, if you just stay on one side, I assure you, hey, we won that one too. Awesome. I assure you that you will lose long term. And the reason being is that there are streaks in this game where, I've seen 27, reds in a row. 27 reds in a row, if you're betting on one side and you're betting black, you just got wiped out, right? Especially if you're doing doubling up as you play, okay? So simple strategies, that's what I wanted to show you. We've got one more, and this is in my opinion, the best strategy on the planet. But let's do a quick recap. You can bet inside. I'm not doing that, obviously. That's 35-to-1. But the ones that I showed you was we were doing the double street, right? So you bet the double streets. The second bet, system, if you will, is you bet red or black. Straightforward, right? Red or black. Now, that's the same odds as if you're doing even or odd. And that's exactly as it sounds. It's not rocket science. If you bet even, an even number has to come up. If you bet odd, an odd number has to come up. It's very simple. All of these outside bets are paid 1-to-1, okay? So just for argument's sake, since I wanted to play every single section, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to play the second and third 12, which means I've got this one and this one covered, both of those, and I'm doing an even bet, okay? Now, I will say this. I don't recommend that you play the double dozens that I'm doing right here, but I did want to show you at least what a bet on that side looks like. And here's the reason why. Is that, yes, it does cover a large portion of the table, or the board, but when you lose, you have to triple up in order to get your money back. It pays 2-to-1, okay? And that's great, but like I said, we just happen to win that one. But like I said, you can really get in a hole in that one. So I don't even know why I brought that up, so I'm sorry. Here's what you want to do. You're doing the double bet, these right here. I'm going to show you right now. That's the first bet sequence you want to do. The second bet sequence is pick a color. Doesn't matter what color. And the third one is even. Now, I don't recommend you bet all these together, right? I mean, you can. Don't do that. Pick one of these strategies and play it. You're either playing the double streets for one roll or as many rolls as you want. You're either playing red or black for as many rolls as you want, or you're doing an even or an odd bet for as many rolls as you want. Okay, so that is a clean. I just want to give you a visual reference of what we're looking at here. Okay, so we got 33 on that one. We won $6. Again, that piece of it doesn't matter. I just wanted you to see kind of what we're playing. Now, here's the bonus. Are you ready for this? I believe, and I've played this many, many times, I believe that the best strategy in this game, forget everything else that I just told you. I'm kidding. Don't forget it all. But this is the best strategy in the game, in my opinion. You pick the 1st through the 18 or the 19 through the 36. It doesn't matter, guys. Just choose one or the other. It pays 1-to-1. And then you want to pick an even or an odd number. Doesn't matter which one. It's completely up to you. This is a game of randomness, so don't get stuck on the rigidness of it's got to be this and it's got to be that. No, it doesn't. I assure you, it doesn't have to do anything. You can bet all over the place, right? Luckily, in that scenario, we won, and here's why we won. We were betting the 1st and the 18. 8 was the number, so we won. We were betting an even number, and obviously 8 is an even number. Now, the reason that I like this bet so much, and I'm just doing dollars to talk to you about this, is that one, you can play forever like this. Most of the time, not always, but most of the time, it's going to be a push. And here's what I mean by that. If you win one but lose the other, it's just a push, meaning you get your bet back. If you win them both, fantastic, then you win double, right? So if you bet 2, you win 4. And then, of course, if it hits 0, we lose it all. But again, that's irrelevant. You're going to hit 0, and that's okay. You're going to lose sometimes in roulette. Don't feel that every single thing is a win, because it's not. Oh, perfect timing. So here we've got an odd number, which is 3, but it was in the first quadrant of the 1st through the 18th, right, up here. So what we did is that was a push. We won, but we only won one section of the bet, okay? I do believe, like I said, this is the easiest way to play. It's two spots. Doesn't take rocket science to do it. You don't have to choose the 1st through the 18th. Like I said, you can do the 19th through the 36th. And after this roll, I'll do that so you can just kind of see what it is. But I believe that that's the easiest way to play, right? And that's essentially everything you need to know about roulette. You don't even have to know that. You can just come in and just start placing. If you don't really want to make a profit and just want to have some fun, you can just place a bunch of random numbers on here. Random numbers in the sense of, the 23rd, my mom's birthday, or the 21st, my birthday, or 22. You choose whatever numbers that you want. Now, remember, the key here is it only pays it pays 35 to 1. Oops. So we're switching over real quick. We're doing 19 through 36 and an odd. You can do 19 through 36 and an even. I'm just choosing that to kind of because I want you to see that you can bet differently. You don't get stuck on that, right? And then you'll see other guys walk up and just randomly place a bunch of chips all over the place. But to finish that thought, the inside pays 35 to 1. Okay, so you don't want to bet more than 35 units, right? Whatever those units are. Same with the outside bets. Remember, you want to make sure that if you're betting something, you're going to win it, right? So if it's an 11 to 1. Here's an example. If you're betting something that's 11 to 1, right, you don't want to bet $12 because you're going to lose $1 every single time, right? So I'm just betting this sequence again so we can kind of go over the final details. But that, like I said, that's it. You don't really need to know anything else about roulette. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Smash that like button, drop a comment. Let me know what your favorite strategy is, or if none of this made sense. And if it didn't, then I'll reshoot it so that it does. But I hope to see you guys at the table. Hope to see you guys at the table and have fun, man. This is a really, really fun game to play. And it's also pretty easy. You don't really have to think about anything. Place your bets and just watch the ball spin. It's really that simple. So we went over a couple of things today. We talked about what roulette was. Most people would say next to craps is probably the most exciting game in the casino. You can win really big money playing this game. You can lose a lot of money too, so don't get stuck on there. We've taught you how to play roulette, right? We went over the different wheels, the different kinds of wheels, like the European wheel, 1 0, the American wheel, 2 zeros, and then the French roulette wheel, but I'm not going to go over that because I've never seen it. So don't worry about that. We talked about some of the bets, right? We talked about the straight up bet, 35 to 1. We talked about the split bet, covering 2 numbers, 17 to 1. We talked about the street bet, right? That's covering 3 numbers, right? That's 11 to 1. And then we talked about the corner bet, which is an 8 to 1 bet, right? That's covering 4 numbers, right? That's if you're like sitting like right in here, right? You're covering all 4 of those numbers, okay? Let's see what we got going on here, just real quick before we finish up. And then let's go ahead and place that back again. And then we talked a little bit about the outside bets, right? And the outside bets are probably some of my favorites, if you will. They're all 1 to 1. Red or black, bet on the color, not rocket science. Even or odd, same thing. Either an even number is going to pop up, or an odd number is going to pop up. Okay. We've got the 1st through 18 and the 19 through 36, right? That's this right here, or that we're on the 19 through 36. Pays 1 to 1. That's essentially a range of numbers, meaning you're covering 1 to 18, and then the other ones are 19 to 36, right? And then we talked briefly about the columns. I don't really play columns that much. They pay 2 to 1, but essentially it's 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns, but you can only bet on 2 columns at a time. And the reason being is it only pays 2 to 1. So, oh, look, there's the nemesis, the dark 0. Nobody likes to see the 0 unless you're playing on the 0, okay? Let's do one more bet because I love it. Now let's go 2 on 2 here. I'm gonna do first 18 and even. Like I said, this is my favorite way to play. We went over the payouts, like which we just literally just did, and then we talked a couple about maybe I think it was like two systems with regards to can you beat roulette. The most famous system on the planet, the doubling down, the martingale, and the D'Alembert system. I think that's how I say it, the D'Alembert system, where it's slower, safer bets, where you're basically increasing your bets after a loss, right? But you're not doing it double. So you can do a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5 units, or you can do a Fibonacci sequence of a 1, a 2, a 3, a 5, etc. Okay. Now that part may get a little confusing. If it does, just write in the comments and I'll go over it with you. Okay. And then the most important piece of this entire video is responsible gambling, right? You got to set a budget and you got to stick to it, man. If you only have $100 and you really don't, and that's what you're playing with, if you lose it, walk away, right? Go get a drink. Don't chase losses. I'm the king of wanting to do that, but I don't do it, right? So if you're chasing a loss, stop immediately. And then most important, you got to know when it's time to walk away. Don't keep reaching into your pocket. If you've lost your initial investment of 100 or 200 or whatever it is that you sat down to play with, it's okay. Walk away. Smart gamblers control their play. It's not the other way around. We don't chase. We don't get crazy in that scenario, right? And then finally, some tips from the pros. Not just me, but everyone will tell you this. Let's play that one more time because I just love it. Is be respectful. Understand the table layout. Like know when and where to play the things. And that's this picture right here. Let me pull this picture up. Oh, not that one. Oh no, did I close it? Oh, I did. God dog it. I think I closed that picture. There we go. Again, just know where you're actually playing and where to place those bets. And if you have questions, ask the dealer. They're awesome. They will help you throughout the entire game. And then the final comment, hey man, enjoy the game. It is awesome. This is a super fun game to play, and you can make some decent money. And as you can see, I'm at 4,425. It's a little bit of a combination of some other betting, but 90% of this money is all based right here playing on roulette. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please drop a comment, a like, subscribe. Would love to have you guys on board. And if you have any questions or concerns, hey man, just let me know. Vegas J out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.